the kitchen of intrigue, Curt Jackson and Chris Callow are cooking up a batch of mystery soup.
Each episode serves a new blend of tips, tactics, trends, and tales from the business and design sides of the escape room world.
So grab your spoon, because this episode starts in 3, 2, 1.
Mystery Soup.
Welcome to the Mystery Soup podcast. I'm Curt, and with me is Chris.
Hola.
What's up, Chris?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going good. So I was thinking that
It's about time.
you know, every once in a while I do it. It hurts. It hurts so bad.
I'm with you on that.
But I was thinking, because you had mentioned we should do seasons.
Yes.
And I'm thinking we should wrap up the, 18 episodes we did with a season finale of just us. And then we'll start the next season.
Now, is this like Survivor where they're on, 58 seasons, but they've only been filming for like 10 years? Like, is it like that,
right?
Where they have 4
That's
seasons
true.
a year or something.
These days, seasons on Netflix and stuff like are 8 episodes. Or
Yeah, and then it's 4
10.
years later, the next season.
Seriously.
I'm still waiting on my Stranger Things. Like, let's go. Finish it off.
It's crazy. We kind of bypassed that. If we were going to do that, we're way past it. So
That's right.
I was like, okay, well, maybe
We did season 1 and 2 in
I know that I don't know that a lot of, but I know some podcasts, they'll have one season will have a theme or something, but a lot of them don't. I'm thinking for us, maybe every 4 months.
Okay.
Because that's a season.
It's a good season.
You know?
Like that.
I mean, I guess 3 months would be the
I
season.
get down with that.
All right, cool. So, welcome to the season finale.
Didn't even know it was coming.
I'm thinking we could talk about like the key takeaways.
Okay.
That
Good
from
night. This is gonna be a long episode then, because there's a lot of takeaways.
There are a few. And if anyone wants to kind of see the key takeaways from the episodes we have done, head over to mysterysoupgames.com, and all of the episodes can be found there with the show notes. And in the show notes, I've added the key takeaways, or at least the key takeaways for me in those.
You got your own. You got your special.
You know, although I didn't start it until episode 4.
Oh, they skipped mine. The best takeaways were from Chris's episode.
I'm such a slacker.
You did really well in this. Look at all these takeaways.
Better than our last podcast.
Yeah. Who was doing the show notes for that? He was sticking it up. Who was that?
Oh my goodness. We need some sponsors.
I feel like, can you not? I mean, I don't know enough, but can Chat GPT, can you not just be like, here, listen to this and give me all the key takeaways? I bet they could.
Probably.
I just made it write me an entire Google Sheet formula the other day, or last night, in fact, for all the jobs I have for this fall. I wanted it to give me a countdown that when I check on a job, like, okay, I'm done with this, that it would tell me how many I have left still. And it wrote
Really?
this crazy long form, because there's 5 of us here on staff right now. And so that's what I wanted. I was pretty impressed.
You're done with summer camp.
Just finished. It's over.
Yeah.
Finally. Oh. It was a long summer. I mean, it was a good summer. We had a 19% increase in our campers.
Yeah.
And so that's always excellent, because that means they liked what I did last year and came back.
The word is out, because last year for this particular camp was your first summer. So, yeah, good job, man.
I mean, I don't know if they were coming back for me, but they at least came back.
You look in the mirror and you're like,
I do.
It's because of me.
I know it's me. I'm just saying that in case someone else is listening. They're like,
humble does not work for you, man.
Zero humbleness. Narcissistic all the way.
Right.
I believe you bought me something, and I think it's still at my old camp, that said one time, it was something like, why do I need to listen to anyone else when I know I have the right answer? I can't remember what it, or I can't even
Maybe.
remember. Yeah, it was something like that. But
Yeah. That sounds
I think,
about right.
I think it's still there. I think I left it.
I bet Carrie
Unfortunately.
would say the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she knows I'm right though, so it's kind of hard when I am right all the time.
Oh wow. Oh
It's very
wow. You're right most of the time when we play escape rooms.
so we just did an escape room, and I won't mention the name of it because it was not well done. We were out in 20 minutes, but I did every puzzle except one. And I was letting the other group, like, oh, I'm gonna let them, because I'm like, hey, I don't, it's not fun when you do
You're
all
like,
the
I'm a
things.
giver.
And so I let them all play, and they were stinking it up. And they're like, I'm like, you just gotta do this. Every puzzle. And so when we got in the car, I pointed that out to them because that's the kind of guy I am. I want them to know
Wow.
I solved it all. And they're like, no, you didn't. I go, okay, name a puzzle you solved. Yep, I did them all. So I'm just
Where was
just
Carrie?
saying. She was with me. She did not do well.
She didn't really?
She wasn't doing well that night.
Pretty ace.
I know she's normally my go-to, but
Yeah. So
not that
basically you're saying that these puzzles follow no logic.
there's no, yeah, I mean,
And
that fits.
no normal person could figure it out.
You have to be ADHD like me. That is the only way it's gonna happen. But
So,
man, how many episodes have we done? 17.
well,
Good night.
by the time I post this, it'll be 18. Still have one more to post. And but yeah, been cranking them out. You did your Puzzle Emporium.
Did. I would like to get that guy on to where I stole the idea from.
And he never
answers me, apparently. Yeah. Maybe you should message him. I'm not important enough, I guess.
Maybe I'll reach out. But explain what your Puzzle Emporium is all about.
So it's essentially just a room full of escape room puzzles that you can do in any order. And so, like, I got 25 puzzles. You don't have to do them in any order whatsoever. You just go in, you do a puzzle, you complete it, and you open the box. So you get the lock code, you open the box, and inside it are tennis balls that you shoot into this hoop that has a clear pipe coming out of it. And so the tennis balls start stacking up, and that is how you get points. So you get 10 points for every tennis ball. So 25 puzzles, 2 balls per puzzle. So max of 500 points if you get everything done, which only one group has done this summer.
Oh.
And they were the full-time staff, so I don't think they count. But it has been a huge hit. We don't give hints. We don't do any of that. And so when kids are done, they can actually come back and play it again, which I really, really like. I have really enjoyed. Like, it's been fun.
So there is no theme, right?
No theme. We just picked a color scheme. So.
Okay. And then adults have played as well?
Adults have played. Adults have loved it. Now, I was telling Curt this earlier on. The first 10 minutes of the game. So they get in there. They usually have about an hour, depending on what time. Some of the weeks we only had 45 minutes. But usually about an hour. And for the first 10 minutes, they're walking around and they don't know what to do. And it takes them about 5 to 10 minutes, and then they start figuring it out, and they start doing a puzzle here, they do a puzzle there, they get excited, you see those aha moments, or they'll see something, they're like, oh, I know where that's from, and they'll go back and try and figure it out. And so for the first several minutes, they hate it, absolutely hate it, like, this is dumb, I can't figure this out, which I was scared about, because kids today are quitters. We've seen a lot of that at camp, that they give up real fast. And so we've been trying to teach that you can do hard things, like you can finish something, try hard stuff, and see if you can get there. But so I was a little worried, but everyone that has, after they stay that whole time, they're like, this was the best thing ever. We even had a bunch of 6th graders here, a whole field trip group, and they did everything in our camp. They did the archery, they did the throwing range where they threw tomahawks and knives and ninja stars, and they did it all. And they said their favorite thing was the Puzzle Emporium. So I'm like, okay.
Wow, that's huge, man. And how big are the groups that go in at a time?
We max it out at 12. 12's a pretty good size.
That's huge, though. So 12, yeah. I mean, that's so normal cabin group. be 10 to
And,
12.
so that's ours with the 2 leaders. That's ours, and so that's why.
Okay.
Like we could probably get. I mean, the room's a fairly good size. I don't know what the actual.
So then 12
space
is with the leaders. The leaders don't play, right? Because
They do.
know
We let them play because they don't know it. They're all new. All the cabin leaders.
Oh, that's
are
right. Because each week it's different. It's
So-
volunteers. That's right.
So
So
they
you've
the
got
adults love it too.
so you've got 12 in there, and because it's not story driven or you could go anywhere,
Yep.
then
Well,
everybody can
everyone-
participate.
Yeah, everyone participates. Everyone's successful at something. So
Yeah.
like we have a normal escape room. We max it out at 8, even though our cabin size is small. That we make them sign up. But when they go in there and do it, there's usually 1 or 2 kids that are the leaders. They're kind of doing everything,
Mm-hmm.
and the other kids sometimes get mad, like I want to open this lock, or they fight over it.
Right.
Where the puzzle room, they can just walk away from those leaders, go to another side of the room, and do something over there, and everyone is successful. They all get excited when they get a tennis ball to throw in, but it has been even the adults are just as hilarious, like I got a tennis ball and they want to throw. What's funny is no one can apparently, like the hoop is about 10 foot high the way I have it in my room. You would think tiny little tennis ball, big old normal sized basketball hoop, but the tennis balls bounce so much that if they try and go off the backboard, like it takes people 3 or 4 shots to get the dumb ball in, which I find hilarious.
That's fun.
They're
Yeah.
chasing the tennis balls all over the room, then they're bouncing everywhere.
That's part of the whole fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, awesome. I like
eventually
it.
I'm gonna get a whole video. One of these days I will
Yeah,
get
you
in there
should.
and record just going through it so people can see what it looks like. But
And so are you going to keep it for next year, the same one, or are you going to switch puzzles out?
so I'm just gonna keep adding puzzles is the plan. I still have plenty of room in there to add more puzzles. And so we'll just add 2 or 3 puzzles every year because kids can come back and do, I mean,
The ones
things
they haven't
didn't do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, an average camper, when there's 12 of them in there, they only do about 3 or 4 puzzles total. And that's it. So they can always come back and do some more.
Huh.
But
Right on, man.
yeah, it's been
Well,
awesome.
that's cool. And then you have like your knights.
Yeah, the quest for
Medieval.
the golden pineapple.
Right. You have that as well. So some of these key takeaways you can use
Mhm.
for what you do, like a
As we
camp
build stuff.
design. Exactly. So is there anything specific to you that was a key takeaway from this
Well,
first season?
And I think especially it was one of the very first episodes we did the immersive machine, Scott and Kay.
Mhm.
One of the things they said, they did a whole and this is totally me, but it was don't sacrifice fun for theming. Fun has to be the main goal in a game design.
Mm.
And you know me, I like to go overboard on my theming or
Right.
all that craziness. And so I'm like, yeah, it's got to be fun. Like it may look cool, but we got to make sure it's fun too, that people are enjoying the game. And so that's such a huge thing here that, especially knowing myself, that I really have to work on. And I got another one that right off the bat that I know is a thing that I have a problem with too. But that's having that story. You like, who said it? Louis Hernandez from the Sanctuary Escape said games design starts with a story, then the set, then the puzzles. And I always do that completely backwards. I usually have my puzzles in mind and I try and make them fit the story. And then you get in there, you're like, this puzzle feels out of place.
Right.
It's not a good puzzle. And that's because I start with the puzzles because it's a puzzle I like, instead of starting with the story and then finding puzzles to go with it. So,
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of the owners were talking about starting with the story, then doing the set design, and then using what's in the set for puzzles, going, how do we make this into a puzzle? And then it builds on itself. It's like, oh, we could do this. We don't have that here, but we can make this and grab props for that over here. So yeah, I like that. I mean, kind of going back to Scott and Kay, I like that they talked about having more content and more puzzles and tasks that are easier in general. So as opposed to having a few really difficult puzzles and you just get frustrated and you're like, I want those quick wins. I want more puzzles, those quick wins. It just seems like things are moving
especially at the
along.
beginning. I
and
think
fun.
having
especially at the beginning, yeah.
because I've done a couple rooms where the first puzzle took forever and everyone gets frustrated right off the bat. And so, yeah, if you have that early win, you get excited. I think you almost bookend it. I feel like somebody said that. I wish I could remember who. You bookend it with some easier ones. So you start off with easy, so you have those first initial successes, and then you end easy because your time should be running out, and you want to get to the end faster.
Right, that was CU Adventures.
Is that who said that? Yeah,
Chris and Ann.
and they do such a good job there at CU. I mean, how many did we do there? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Just amazing. One of the things they said that I really like too, because sometimes I do it, they talk about how games should not be sacred, and so that you're okay with changing things up, or if you have an idea for a new puzzle or you want to change something up, that is okay. That you can mix that up. You don't have a sacred thing that can't be touched. That's okay to make something better, and I really like that. It was sometimes I do that. This is my baby. I don't want to change it.
I like that Andy, how he was talking about. I mean, a few of them have said this, because I think also Nicole and Tom, about how important sound is and music.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because Tom was saying that as well. That it's just music and sound are so important. I can't stand when I play a game and there is no sound. There's no music and it feels so sterile, and you're just like, this needs something.
Yeah, it is way worse when it's silent.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, we talked about Morty. That was Andy at Morty.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, we have been saying this since the beginning. He talked about merch, that stickers. I just want a sticker. I have almost gotten to the point where I've created stickers for escape rooms I've done, because I would totally have an entire wall or something of just my escape rooms that I've done.
Right.
But having that merch that's cheap, it's great advertising. Oh, I have an escape room bottle. This is my escape room bottle of water I bring with me. It's got all my stickers from all my rooms.
Well, and you do stickers for camp, and they're
I have so many
super
stickers.
cheap.
They cost, it's like $19 for 100 stickers. Yeah. And I sell them for $1 each, and that's cheap. Most people I would buy a $3 sticker. Right. So I have, is it the escape game that does pins? I have several of their little pins.
I have one of their pins. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we have talked about this multiple times, but stop with the silicone bracelets.
Oh,
nobody keeps, unless they're kids. Fit. But even then,
I stick them on, and I'm like, and my fingers are losing blood. But no one wants those.
No filling in your fingers.
The Boxton, which is down in, is that the one in St. Louis area?
Yep.
Boxton, JR and Heather there talked about maximizing the boundaries of the room to tell the story without sacrificing anything, because that's a big thing with escape rooms, is space and having enough space to kind of tell the story. And so really maximize on those boundaries, really kind of make the walls, make your decor kind of tell your story, so you're not sacrificing anything to put it in there.
Right.
But
and
they even talked about including outlets, making sure you have the right, being in an old camp right now, finding an outlet in some of these places, like our escape room has 2 outlets in the entire escape room. That's it, because it's an old building and it was a kitchen, and having plenty of outlets is always helpful.
Yeah. I liked with them talking about how the different marketing, because when you think about marketing, I know this doesn't necessarily apply to like the camp world, but how they do billboards and those actually work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think with escape rooms, normally all we think about is SEO and Google ads and Facebook ads and social media kind of stuff. Escape rooms will have rack cards, but anything else don't really do. But they've tried it all: radio, billboards, and everything. So I think definitely when I'm ready and we get our place going, I'm going to reach back out to JR and Heather and say, what really worked for you? Because we need to do some marketing.
Well, and that's, Jeremiah and Christine of the Exit Game OC tying in with marketing. They even said, like, your marketing is for the new people. that's for the people that don't know about you. And so
Right.
that's what you want. You want those billboards and stuff because the enthusiasts know how to find you. They
Mhm.
know where to go for that. They know what to look for. They know Morty. But you need those billboards. You need the wrap on your vehicle that as you're driving
Oh
around
yeah, that's
to
a good
get the
one.
people to come out. That's so important for that. But and having good marketing. I mean, AI or found pictures of your room is okay. Man, if you showed me a little bit of your, you don't have to give away anything, but you show me a little bit of your room, what it actually looks like in your online stuff, I'm going to be there.
When I am on Facebook and I'm looking at the different groups and stuff like that, and somebody leaves a comment and they're obviously an owner,
Mm-hmm.
you may do this too, but have you clicked on their name because you want to see which place they own? And they have no information. Like their
Yes.
Facebook profile, it doesn't
No
say
clue. Why would you
nothing.
not have your business in there?
Why would you not have your
Yep.
business name there? Unless you're not proud of it, but why would you be in business? There was one that I saw and I saw their comment and I was like, oh, I wonder what, escape room they own. And I go and it was Puzzle Connect. And I went onto their site and they have pictures of their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go play their rooms now.
Yeah.
Like just that alone, I don't know if they're good
But they
or
look,
what.
you're
But they
actually
look
seeing them.
so good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that. Was it it wasn't Harry Potter, Willy Wonka, the big Willy Wonka thing over in
Right.
Europe that they
Yeah.
used AI for, and like people showed up like this is not. And I felt that way. You see something online, you're watching a little video of introduction for the room, you're like, oh, this looks cool, and then you get there, and I mean, I just did one that was Bigfoot, and they
Mm.
had one tiny little Bigfoot thing in there, and it was just poorly done. It didn't look good. But man, their video made it look good, like Bigfoot is gonna attack
Mm.
you. And I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you said to, I think it was Scott and Kay of Immersive Machine, that when you went, your favorite thing was that you got to take the photos in the room afterwards. Like when you completed it,
Photos. Yeah.
and they let you put on costumes, take photos. And that's, I mean, that's good marketing too, because there you see two people that enjoyed the room and you see the room. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to
Well, then
see the actual rooms.
Jeremiah and Christine, they go that step further where they allow pictures and videos.
Yeah.
Like you can, as a player, you could take out your phone, do a
Yep.
TikTok. And that has been huge for them. Tina and I talked about that. It's like, is that something we want to allow? And I think we're both on the same page as like, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I literally just the other day was on a whole TikTok scroll of just escape rooms, and some of them are good. Yeah, some of them you're seeing people do it and tagging the company or whatever, and so then it's kind of cool. But yeah, so many of them are just, or even your Facebook page. If I go to your Facebook page and it is just people who've done it standing in front of your logo that's out in the lobby, like every picture looks the same, it's just different people,
Right.
that's not exciting.
I know. It's so boring.
It is. I'm like, I got nothing. So, this is on my head because we had staffing issues this summer at camp.
Oh, right.
We've been talking about staff and how I think Chris from Escape Town in Peoria, talk about treating your staff well, building relationships with them. I mean, she goes and does escape rooms with her staff and things like that. And I think that's so good. But all the staff problems we had at camp this year, like, staff are important.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she hires teens and they do so well, because you're always, even at camp, you're like, I don't know, we want to hire a little older than that. But sounds like, yeah, they do it right. But we were talking, what is it, going back to Jeremiah and Christine again, where we were talking about how when hiring, you go with your gut, right?
Yeah.
It's more of, instead of asking the basic questions that you ask in every interview, it's better just to have a conversation with them, get to know who they are. And you're like, you know what, this person would fit in well with our team. So yeah, definitely go with your gut.
Well, they said too, not letting staff say bad things about customers, because you don't want to start that
Oh, right.
culture. And
Yep.
it's a good customer service. You're not complaining about the Karens, even though they're out there.
For
Staff is
sure.
so. Steven and Keith from Puzzle, I always want to say it like Puzzle Creative,
Huzzah.
talked about making sure the staff, you're training them to be there at the end to celebrate. I
Yeah,
just did
yeah.
a room, and we thought we were done. We were pretty sure we were done, but like nothing happened. There was no, hey, you're like we just kind of stood there and we're like, is that it?
Right.
Should there be more? And finally they walked in. Hey, and they walked in, so you got it. Good job. I'm like, thanks. It's
I know.
exciting.
Tina and I were talking about that afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I really like the idea of them being there excited when you
Celebrating
come
with you.
out. Yeah. And even if, because I think they were talking about, even if they don't finish the room, there's still something to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a game master who's paying attention, then they're going to find things that everybody did that
Yep.
was successful and helped the team along, and you point those things out. I like the idea of that. I also like the idea, somebody was saying something about giving some kind of token
Mm-hmm.
at the end, kind of to remember the room. And yes, I mean, we just talked about how don't give the silicone bracelets away because
Yeah.
no one's going to keep them, but you could come up with something else. We've been thinking about, because we've been kind of deciding what rooms we're going to do and what you can give away, a little
Mhm.
souvenir to think. I know that when we had the escape hatch and we had a Christmas room and it was getting off of the naughty list, that at the end you got a piece of paper, but it was on nice Christmas paper. And it says, the naughty list or the nice list, and it had everybody's name. And I remember, because they signed all their waivers, that's when the game master sees the names on their waivers and types all that out, prints it, puts it in an envelope, locks it up before they even get in the room. So then they go in the room, and then at the end, the whole thing was to get the naughty list and
Yep.
take it with you, so you're not on it anymore. But they get to take that home with them. And there were little bags of candy for the players as well that they can share. And
I
people
still have,
love that.
yeah, I still have my little certificate, and Rowan too wanted his. I asked him if he wanted me to throw it away or if he wanted to save it for him. He's like, no, save it for me. But from was it the exit game? When we did Servants of Slight, the
Servants of
little
Slight, yep.
the
Oh,
whatever you
yeah,
get
yeah.
that you're an official magician now or something.
Yep, we
But-
have ours up on our little
Yeah.
escape room board too. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it was just a piece of paper. It was just they
Just
hit print
right.
with our name.
No, it's so cool. So I also think, and this is something I thought about before Chris and Ann had mentioned this, but playing as many games as you can
Mhm.
is so important, because you could see what else is. I know there have been some owners that have told us, like, well, I don't like playing other games because then I'm going to be
Persuaded.
influenced,
Yeah.
by what they're doing, and so it really stifles my creativity. And I see it as absolutely the opposite, right? You get so many ideas and you find inspiration in the different games that you're playing, especially if you play a game and you're like, oh, they really should have done this.
Yep.
And you're like, when I design a game, I'm going to add that in there because it was missing there, and I think they should have had it. But just set design, music, lighting, puzzles, and everything else, I feel like you can get so much inspiration and so many cool ideas the more games you play.
It's a good way to just kind of be, oh, I absolutely hate this. Make sure we don't do that.
That's
Like,
true.
this
That's
is
true
how
on the
I
opposite
feel
end.
when I walk in.
Right.
Like, it's well, Louis from Sanctuary Escape even said to, go out and visit other escape rooms, get to know the owners, because the community is so good. And
Yeah.
and so not only visiting just to get ideas, but visiting to talk with them, like, hey, how'd you do this? Or what worked well? Or should I not do that? Like, this looks cool. You did this. How do you do it? Nope, don't do it. Trust me, it's the worst thing ever. Like,
Mhm.
but having that visiting and building that community of people,
That's true.
so that I don't know. I just did. I mean, we did an escape room, and it was great. Beautiful escape room. I love the puzzles. There were too many of them. But the lady told us, the owner is like, "Oh, I've only been to one other room ever," and I'm like, "Oh."
Crazy.
So then I was sitting there going, are we gonna have, like, is it gonna be Pigpen ciphers? Is that gonna be in the room? Yep, there were. Is there gonna be hieroglyph? Yep, there were. I had to translate them. And that was exactly, I'm like, if you would have visited other rooms and gone somewhere else, you would have known no one likes this, or pig pens are done. Everyone had them. No one wants them anymore. But
Interesting. I mean, although most of the people you're going to get are new, right? They haven't done an escape room
I guess
before.
so.
And so for them, might be okay. But yeah,
She
after you've
also, I
done
mean,
that
she had way too
once,
many puzzles. Like, it needed to be, she gave us extra time. I don't need extra time,
Yeah.
Kurt. I don't know if you know me. I am amazing. But she had to give us extra time to finish because there were just so, I mean, and we weren't slow on any puzzles. We had them. We were booking it. There were
Right.
just so many. So
Yeah, did you say anything like, oh, you should go out and play?
I did. I was like, oh, you should
Here's
try
some
these.
great
Like,
rooms.
here's a room that's very similar to yours. You should check it out. I was trying
Right.
to be nice because she is also building one not far from us. And I want to be, hey, we'll come beta test for you. So,
For sure.
well, and it's was it Shad that said that knowing how a player feels and getting their experience can really help. And so game masters should, like, play the games too, like, even so they get that whole experience. They know when
Mm.
they walk in, this is what I'm feeling, or this is where I look first, and they have that. And I think that just helps, going and doing other rooms or having your game masters go and play other rooms just
Well, I think,
really helps.
yeah, thinking back on Shad's episode, as well as how he was saying where he learns the players' names and how
Mm-hmm.
that enhances the experience. So like when you give hints or you talk to them, hey Chris, blah blah blah, whatever
Yeah.
the hint is, and that makes it so much more personable. And I'm reading right now. I'm reading a book called uh, Unreasonable Hospitality.
Mm.
And I really want to have like the customer service
Yeah.
down, because I think when you go to an escape, in my experience, you go to a lot of these escape rooms and they make sure you're registered, they put you in the room, you do your game, maybe they give you a couple of hints, they take you out, and that's it. And you don't feel like you were really that
Mm-hmm.
welcome. You're just kind of a
Mm-hmm.
number going through. And the whole experience of going to an escape room is kind of to escape life and
Yeah.
escape reality, and you just want to have a good time. You almost want to have that Disney experience, right,
Mm-hmm.
where people are smiling and they're welcoming. And I feel like a lot of escape room businesses could elevate their customer service and their
Oh,
hospitality.
well, I mean, there's still so many rooms because the whole point of an escape room is to escape. Like, that's
Mhm.
that customers feel good when they escape. They're happy. Oh, I can't remember. Somebody said something like, if you leave on a win, that that's good. It doesn't matter if the rest of the room, some of the room might have been bad, but if you end it well, um, that it feels like that's what you go. Oh, it was Steven and Keith said that from Puzzle Creative, that if I leave the room with a win and the whole experience, everything's part of it, but it may start bad, the beginning, but the ending is bad. That's what I'm leaving with.
Mm.
That's what I'm going to tell people. I mean, that's the whole job of an escape room. You're there for the customers. So having this whole only 17% of people complete our room, that's all that's going to happen. Then only 17% of people are going to go out and tell people how good it was. And so you need
Yeah.
that huge amount of customers that escape, not because it's too easy, because I've complained about those rooms, but
Right.
like, there's still a win. You're helping them win. You're changing the game so that people leave happy. I don't know. It's so good. Yeah. What'd you call
We
that book? Unhospitable, some
Unreasonable hospitality.
unreasonable. Okay.
we did a game a while back here in Florida, and the game was pretty decent. We enjoyed it. The set design was good. Everything was good. But the last puzzle was stupid ridiculous.
Yeah,
And that's what we left on.
Yep.
Right. And so I remember going on Morty and I was like, I don't know, to give this a thumbs up
Mhm.
or a nothing. Right. Because they lost me
Yeah.
it was really the last couple of puzzles. If they would have changed those out for something that was just more enjoyable, then it probably would have
Mhm.
got a love from me. But that's what we left on. We were just talking about, wow, it was really good, but man, those last puzzles,
Yeah.
those were
That's what
rough.
you end on.
Yeah, yeah. So it is important.
But if it's good, I mean, it can be a hard puzzle as long as it's good. What the See You Adventures, Chris and Ann talked about the 3 acts where they break it up into 3 different acts.
Mhm.
Your first act is short, you get people interested, you have a some kind of twist, something get them going. And then the act 2, that's your main story. I mean, and these guys are actors, like they have the whole actual real actors in their escape rooms too.
Right.
But the act 3, that's your climax, your big boss fight, your end. But it's got to be something good. Like you want to end it well with that. And you have
Who
to
were you
think of that
saying
in your
said
room.
that?
It's Chris and Ann from See You Adventures.
Yeah,
They
because
talk about.
Will and Kim from Escape Artists Greenville, the same thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're designing games. They think about the design as far as like a 3 to 5 act play structure. And yeah, I like that idea.
No.
And because well, they've got actors as well in a lot of their games.
Mm-hmm.
We keep going back and forth, Tina and I, on whether we should have the staff act or not. Because you lose that consistency, right? I mean, even I think Will and Kim, maybe both of them were saying that they give their staff kind of ownership of the character
Mm-hmm.
and how they want to play it, which is awesome because then they get to really take ownership and have a good time with it. But it's not consistent, right? You're not going to get the same experience with one person as you will with the other. And I think that was also where Keith and Steven were talking about having videos as opposed to the game master giving the intro or the storyline, because it's the consistency that you're
Especially when you're
not gonna
training
get.
someone new. You have the 2 people
Right.
standing there like, I'm training him. So he's going to read the storyline. Hi, welcome to the pirate ship.
Right.
Today you have been hey buddy, you got to be a little more excited, like
I like when an escape room, some of them will have this where you look through a peephole and you see somebody behind, it's just a video, but it looks like somebody's in the next room, or you hear a voice behind a door. And so there are characters in there, or if you have like a hint system, like a toaster or a parrot or something like that, it feels like there's characters in the room, and yet you don't need to have,
actual
a
characters.
live person.
Do you-
So we're
Do you
kind of
remember
thinking
the
about that
monkey
as well.
from the monkey business at Chris's place? She had that the door opened up. We were supposed to give as a guy dressed in a monkey suit.
Yes, of course.
I mean, it terrified Carrie, which made it funnier.
Right.
But he was the most unenthusiastic monkey ever. Like, didn't even sound like a monkey. He's just like, "You got something for me?" Like, it was just so.
It was just,
I mean,
it was just
Carrie
like
screamed.
he was just in the lobby with a little monkey hat on. Because
That's so funny.
if we did it, we'd be like,
Yeah, totally. I'd be banging on the thing beforehand, making the sounds.
It surprised me that Will and Kim were saying that at their place, the scary games are their top sellers.
Yeah. Where are they at? Greenville, South Carolina?
Yeah. So somebody else was
Crazy
saying
people in South Carolina.
if you do a scary room, you lose half of your potential customers because people won't want to do it. So there's two kind of conflicting, because we don't really plan on having a scary game. We enjoy them, but I don't know. I'm always afraid that yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, well, we're not going to play those. And so we
Yeah.
lose out on that. But with them saying, yeah, those are our top sellers. That's interesting.
Well, Nicole and Tom of Nocturne talked about what they say, like having those different,
The levels,
yeah, like the different
scare
levels of
levels.
scare.
Yeah.
So people can be like, listen, I don't actually want to be scared. Like,
Right.
no jump scares, none of that for me.
Right.
So,
Right.
but
Yeah. There's so many good pieces of advice that we got.
have you watched any of the escape room movies, the horror
Yep.
movies where everybody dies? I haven't seen either of them yet, but I see little clips of it on TikTok. And then, like, I just watched one the other day, and somebody's like, there's no way somebody's actually going to die in here. Like, they wouldn't let us actually get hurt. So now I would like, I don't think I could watch those movies because I would be even more against scary ones. Like, it could happen. I don't want to.
It seems like a lot of owners, but a number of them are starting to go with this Node Red
Yep.
and how cool it is. It's funny because I'm looking at things like M3 cogs, but software that kind of runs the show, makes it easy for the game masters. And it's this Node Red. I'm just like, I don't know. It seems like coding, a lot of coding and everything else. But because like Rob at Niagara Escapement and Scott Levy are both like, do it. I'm
Yeah.
really kind of considering it. And I was just talking to Nick from Off the Couch, and he was the same way. He was like, Node Red is the way to go.
Mhm.
So
even Jeremiah from Exit Game OC talked about, like, he said
that's
the whole
right.
game is run on Node Red.
That's right. Yeah. So kind of like, I know that you don't do anything like that at camp, but
That's too
for
much for
us,
me. Yeah.
it's too much. Yeah. But you do have
That's
some
that's
like
too much,
Arduino.
like too much electronics for that old building my escape room is in.
That's true.
Necessary for us.
Yeah.
I think one thing I've taken from almost every episode, almost every owner has talked about how hard, how
Mhm.
money draining and time consuming it is, but they all still love it.
Right.
Like, they all talk about, oh, it's like the worst job ever. Oh, it takes so much money. And oh, I got to do this. I got to have a side job to keep it going. But nope, I love it. It's fun. I think
It's
that's
true.
hilarious.
I'm surprised at how many of them are still working their normal jobs. Yeah, it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. Good luck with that.
Right. Right. So another thing that I thought was interesting, and I love this idea, Chris,
Not me.
Michelle, not you. You do say things that I write down. You're
Do
a
you? Okay, good.
wealth of knowledge, but Chris Michelle, how his names for his games, right? And
See the
how
one with all the, like, the Hootenanny.
yes, and the Auditorium Emporium, but how the games, the names should be memorable and stand out and funny. The only other place that comes to mind that does that would be Doldrix in Kissimmee, Orlando area. And they have the Spoopy Bones, and so they have all these fun names. And it makes me think, man, we should do that with our games as well.
Yeah.
But he had some good stuff. Like when you think about your design, like really think about why this world exists. You know, why
You
are
plan
the
all the
players in this
background that no
world?
one else sees it.
All the background, right? Right.
Well,
Yeah.
he said too that when you design stuff, it's for you. Don't design it for what's going to impress guests. Do for what's going to impress you, because you've seen so much more. You've done so much more. So if it impresses you, then it's definitely going to impress other people. But,
yeah.
Yep. No, he had some good stuff. He had a lot. I mean, that was probably our longest episode.
It was. I don't know if it was all after I edited it.
Did you get it down? I don't know how many you got it down to.
I got it down from the 4 hours that we were talking. Yeah.
I mean, half of that we were talking about roller coasters too, because he does lots of cool roller coasters. So some of it was outside the escape room.
That's true. He loves the roller coasters.
Yeah, no, lots of good things. Cecilia from Niagara did the whole, I mean, this is what I'm in. She did the whole thing for schools and did that whole
Oh
thing.
yeah, the
Do some
game for the
marketing.
schools.
Love
Yep.
that.
And they
So,
do the Dungeons and Dragons camp.
yeah. Yeah, because they have the games in there, right? People play while they have
They
like
have
a
like a
party
little,
room.
yeah, like a
Mhm.
game board cafe area.
Well, that was a good one to talk to. Learned a lot from them.
So I think also is making things accessible,
Mm,
right? So Rob and Cecilia also were talking about how the puzzles should be, and it comes to being a little easier and more fun,
yeah,
but just accessible for everyone that they can enjoy them, right? And have more puzzles
instead of difficult
instead
ones.
of instead of fewer ones too difficult. But also when you talk about making it accessible for everyone, you think also like, well, wheelchair accessible,
Mm-hmm.
and how, I mean, I know a couple of people talked about that. I think Jeremiah and Christine, how they took a wheelchair in and made sure everything was eye level, which also, if you have kids in there,
There's,
now
you know
those
what?
kids, everything's eye level for them as well. And so
You're
I
gonna
like
know this
that.
more than me because you're in the business a little bit more. Is there no rules for wheelchair accessibility for escape rooms?
No,
Because most escape rooms I go in, there's crawling, there's a slide.
right.
I'm like, how do people in wheelchairs do this? I can't believe there's no rules for them at all.
No, no, there
That's
aren't.
crazy. How do they
But
get away with that? That is a weird thing.
there are also people talk about accessibility. And so I know we had color puzzles. If you're
Mm,
colorblind,
yep.
you couldn't do the puzzle. Now, not everybody in the group is probably going to be colorblind, but adding texture to
Yeah.
something or adding a pattern along with the color really will help out and make it more accessible to people. And also, I mean, Tina and I suffer from this. It's not being able
Old
to
people.
see
Yeah.
very well, yeah, in the dark. So having flashlights, and that's another thing that Jeremiah and Christine brought up. It's like we give everybody flashlights.
Hmm. Not only that, but the locks, those
Oh my
shiny
goodness, the locks, the metal
silver
locks.
locks, because I can't see it anyway. And then I put my flashlight on it and it reflects the light. I'm like, nah, I still don't know what it says.
Right?
I'm so old.
That is one thing that we did at Escape Hatches. We switched all those out
Yeah.
immediately, and we did a lot of those fort locks. We bought a lot of
Those
those
love them.
fort
They're
locks.
expensive, but they're good.
They're the best.
Hey, the only thing I don't like about them is they could be flipped around and look like they're still on the right side.
Mm,
And so I've had some
that is
kids in
true.
mine, they'll be entering the code on the back. I'm like, I think you're on the back, flip it around. Oh yeah. I'm like, I don't even know why. Like, it literally sits on the lock the correct way and they still flip it around. It's the only thing I don't like about those fort locks. I wish there was something over that back. But yeah, no, those are good locks.
Yeah,
A lot of good stuff. You're just helping everyone else have better rooms, Curt. It's back to that community.
I'm learning so much.
Mm-hmm.
A big thing as well that I think a lot of people touched on is the importance of the game master,
Mm-hmm.
and how it can really kind of make or break your experience.
Yeah. Shad said something about that. How it
He
was.
did. He did. And I remember we were talking with him about running multiple games and how that can be frustrating for not only the players, but also the staff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know it's a budget thing as well, but
I don't know.
I mean, we played the one place where the game masters were in the hallways and running multiple games, and usually we didn't need any hints, so we were okay with that. But when we did, it's like, hello,
I
anybody
mean,
there? We need a
one
hint.
game we had to send Tina out to go find the game master. Like,
Oh, that was a different that was a
that
different
was
place. But
awful. Yeah.
yes, that was right.
That was you and I may have thrown a fit and sat
We
on the
did.
floor.
That was
Carrie
funny.
reminds me about that all the
Tina
time.
does too. Tina does too.
All right, listen,
But
if it's gonna be a bad room, I'm gonna throw a fit and sit on the floor. That's probably why the game master left. They're probably like, listen, we're not working with these babies. I'm getting out of here. Get the intern in here for this one. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we see throughout all of them. A lot of them talk about, you got the money, get set design, that's great, but puzzles and the story are so important. And the set design, like, get that stuff going first. Get the having the good, memorable experience. That's what you want, and so people will come back. And there's so many. You may not be able to put thousands upon thousands of dollars into it, but having those good stories, having the fun puzzles, you don't have to have a ton of money to have a good escape room. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the next episode, the first episode of season 2, and we're going to talk about what we want to see in escape rooms.
Get ready, people. It's going to be here's your 4-hour episode. I got a lot of things I'd like to see escape rooms start doing.
So
if the ones
good.
I go to, if you're listening and you're from the Indiana area, could you just get these fixed before I show up to your escape room, please? Like, come on.
We've got a list.
I got a list for you.
Awesome. All right, well, it's fun. Yeah, kind of reminiscing and looking back and all the notes that I've taken so that when we open ours, hopefully we're going to learn and do things right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, hey, this has been Curt and Chris. Thanks for joining us on another scrumptious episode of Mystery Soup. Until our next culinary concoction, may your clues be clear and your escapes be triumphant. Keep puzzling, my friends.
See ya!